hello everybody once again. Yeah, so last week I was put out the idea of potentially playing Mage, and asked for some comments, and my god did I get a lot of comments. It was awesome. I honestly didn't expect to get so many comments, so thank you heaps. It was really, really good. Just shows how people are kind of interested. I don't know, I just thought that was really, really good. I didn't expect to get that many comments, but I got heaps, so I was really, really, really stoked about it. Some really, really good inputs. Seems like the general feeling was that a lot of people were saying go Mage, because I presented some good arguments, but I did sort of think about it afterwards. I think that maybe people that want me to go melee wouldn't be as vocal, because I kind of made such a strong kind of like a sort of arguing for Mage quite strongly. So that did worry me, and a few people did come in sort of saying they like the content, which is awesome, because I appreciate that people are enjoying the commentary, because I enjoy making them. And I sort of think that maybe people are enjoying the fact that I'm like not trying to pretend like I'm the best jeweler out there, because I'm not. I'm sort of here to learn, and I just sort of pass on what I learn, and I think people are kind of liking that. But anyway, besides the point, it's those people might not have even come if I had have been playing Mage, so that is sort of something to consider, because it would be really cool to get more and more people that are like because I love people that comment and sort of interact. So obviously the more the better, because it means the more interaction we can have and the more we can learn. So that is something that needs to be considered. So I spent like half my week playing Mage and having fun with that and getting, and sort of getting into it. But halfway during the week, I just kind of got bored. And wasn't really enjoying playing the Mage as much. And, if you compare, I don't know, the Mage is definitely more chill. You don't die as much, and you get the big damage. But in the end, you think of this, you watch this video where the Mage is running around and stuff, it's good, but it's not this. It's not that just deep in the action, in the thick of it. I like to call it the washing machine. I don't know what other people call it, but just right in the thick of the battle with fucking axes swinging and hammers flying and just grinding through people. It's just I feel like with melee, it's the most frustrating because you die so much. But when melee is good, it's you can't beat it. It's just so good. So after a few days of playing Mage, I really, really was missing the melee quite a lot. Just that, just like what you're seeing here, that just kind of grindy getting into it. So yeah, long story short, there's no episode this week because I spent the first half, or longer than the first half, 4 or 5 days playing Mage, dueling, and doing some OPRs. And then that sort of slow realization was I don't know if I actually do want to go Mage now, actually. Kind of want to back out, kind of want to change my mind. And so I don't really have enough content for a Learn to Play Bruiser video, because I've only had a day where I've been back, or 2 days where I've sort of focused on playing it. And I don't want to just release it. I don't want to release an episode 11 for the sake of releasing an episode 11 when I haven't really done the hard work, So this next week, I'm going to be really, really focusing on doing a lot of dueling on the Great Axe and Warhammer and just getting better. And that was the other option. The other option was, the two options was, 1, go Mage, or 2, just carry on with the Great Axe and Warhammer and keep focused on that and just keep improving. So that's kind of the option I've gone for. Right, the other reasons were that when I was dueling on the Mage, it was kind of boring dueling melee, because it's so much more easier on a Mage to duel melee. Although, having said that, there's a couple of melee that did ruffle stomp me. I'm looking at you, Manzugs. And so you can, but in general, the Mage was you just kite the crap out of them. When I was fighting Manzugs, he beat me quite a few times, but I sort of figured out, I just need to kite him harder. And then it just becomes a game of like you're just running away and like getting in the little pot shots when you can. So I just kind of feel like, I don't know, I just didn't really enjoy that play style. Like it's almost like the game's encouraging you to kite more, if that makes sense. And yeah, when you come up a good opponent, the answers are like, okay, so with melee, I feel like if you've got a tough opponent, in general, the answer is always be more aggressive. Like, I know that's not always going to be the case, but in general, the answer is be more aggressive, right? And you'll generally do better than if you're not. I think when you're playing like a mage, it's like the answer is always be less aggressive. Well, not be less aggressive, but be more kitey. Kite the shit out of them. Run them to bloody Everfall from Windswood if you need to. But that's generally what I found with the mage was, if they're a harder opponent, be more kitey. And I'd rather be the aggressive one than being the kitey one. And having said that, no one ever really wants to duel you on the mage other than other mages, or like musket users or bow users. So it becomes a lot more of a ranged fight than it does. Like generally when you're dueling on the mage, I think you get more ranged duels. You don't get so many melee people really wanting to fight you for obvious reasons as stated above. And I've, you know, like I said in the last video, I've got Stormtrooper aiming. Like, I'm not a good aimer. One of the reasons I went melee. I haven't played FPS. Like, some of these guys that you get, they have just phenomenal aim. They've played FPS before. I've talked to a couple of people, too, that were really, really good mages and then switched. And they said the same thing, that they weren't really FPS players. And the aiming was just, it's like a problem. And so it's just kind of like, there's that, you know, I'm not an FPS player, and I know that I would get better over time, but I don't know, the aiming thing kind of gets annoying after a while. Like, I'd rather have to try to close the gap and then clobber them, and I know that I'm going to clobber them, than playing from range and having to try to target. Because the problem is too, I think that with the mage, it becomes hard when you're trying to burst them down. Like, you can do a lot of damage on a mage, but when someone's kiting you, trying to get away from you, and they're zigzagging and stuff, it can actually be quite difficult for you to burst them down, whereas the melee just has 100 times more burst. Like, you can kill people really quickly when you get on top of them. And the other thing was, the whole point was to learn how to play. And I feel like with the mage, I know how to play mage because, as I've said 100 times now, I've played mages in other MMOs. It's generally what I've always played. I haven't tended to play melee. And so, I don't know how to duel on a mage, granted, but the whole point was to learn how to play. And I just feel like I've got so much more to learn. Like, there's some people that just still waffle stomp me on my melee. And so, yeah, I'm good now, but I want to get to excellent. And I still feel like the journey is incomplete. And so the Learn to Play series is incomplete, you know, I want to carry on that journey. And then the other thing is, the other reason that I want to play melee is, you've heard me talk, if you've been watching my other videos, you've heard me talk about Yoda, OG, you know, Yoda, and how he's been sort of like helping me get better at dueling. Well, I'm going to be joining his guild in the next couple of weeks once my ability to transfer comes up. And we're going to be doing a lot of wars together. And so, and yeah, basically, I want to be a bruiser in wars. And actually, some people in the comment section said, oh, it'd be nice to see some content from wars. So, A, that's coming. And B, yeah, that was one of the reasons I wanted to stay bruiser. Because I think that would be quite fun to do in wars, and that's what they need. So, yeah, that's the other reason why I am sticking with me. So, yeah, that's the plan. Carry on, keep improving on the Great Axe Warhammer. This week I'm going to put in a lot of hard yards, because I've still got to get a lot of best in slot items there. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. I've also noticed too that I've gotten like a bit of a bad attitude lately, where I don't know if it's like ego based or what, but when I lose, I'll sort of blame it on something like, oh, they must have like, you know, what gear are they using? Or I don't know. And it's like, I was watching some guy where it's just like, oh, I don't know what he's wearing. Like, I do no damage to him, but he does heaps of damage to me. And then someone just came along, Great Axe Warhammer, and absolutely destroyed this guy. So it's nice, even though it's a little bit like, you see that and you think, I guess I'm not as good as I thought I was. I think that's a good thing, because it's good to see that kind of stuff, because it keeps you humble. You don't want to be like egotistical. So yeah, I need to start dueling more because, you know, I want to raise myself to that level that kind of it's like motivating to see someone come along that you are having problems beating, and then you see someone in the exact same weapons come along and beat them easily. So I want to, you know, obviously that made me think, I've got so much more progress to make. So that's good. So I'm looking forward to that. So lots of duels this week. And then, of course, as a lot of people mentioned in the comment section, there's other strength weapons I can use. Here's an example where I was just trying out sword and board with warhammer, which actually worked out quite well. A lot of people were saying, you know, like rather than playing mage, why don't you try light armor with like hatchet or like blunderbuss, which is also like some weapons I really, really would like to try, because it's got that more fast-paced style. So I think that's probably once I've geared up on the Great Axe Warhammer, so after, you know, and I'm feeling more confident with it, I'll probably switch over to other strength weapons like hatchet, blunderbuss, rather than, you know, switching completely. Anyway, thanks everyone for the amazing support. Heaps of comments last week. God, it was so good. I'm still getting heaps of subscribers, which is also really, really good. And just generally, like, really nice comments, you know? Like, people... I don't know, it was kind of nice when people were like... that they obviously liked my content enough that they would still continue watching it, even though they weren't interested in Mage. And I don't know, it was really cool. I appreciate a lot of the comments, so keep that up. So, yeah, back to normal. I'll release the next episode this coming Sunday. Sorry for the big, massive ramble, but yeah. Thank you again. Bye.